Welcome to a refreshing, damp and misty morning here in the Gloucestershire Cotswolds. I'm Ian Banyard. I'm a wellbeing author, natural mindfulness guide and guide trainer, and the founder of Nature Connection World, which is a global platform for people who share my passion for creating a more nature conscious world. And I'm out this morning with Lola on our walk and looking forward to sharing some more contemplations as we walk. And in the last video I made, where I was talking and sharing some thoughts and insights and understandings around the self. And when I woke up this morning, and that must have still been on my mind, because what I've been contemplating this morning is consciousness. A friend of mine recently had an exploratory procedure, shall we say, and saw parts of his anatomy that doesn't usually see, it's not usually conscious of, and that was quite profound for him. Many people, when you get to a certain age, have been through probably a similar procedure, and it's quite fascinating because there's so much that goes on within us. This is in the physical sense, that we're just not aware of. We just pay no mind to. We're not conscious of until something happens and a light is shone on it. It's brought into our consciousness. And that got me thinking about consciousness, because it's not something often we're conscious of, because we tend to focus our attention or shine our light onto the day-to-day things, what's currently being fed to us. That was another video I made around fulfillment and the difference between being fed information and filling ourselves up with information, consciousness. What are we being led to be conscious of? What are we being fed to be conscious of? And what is it in our best interest to become more conscious of? And I've one of the ways I've understood consciousness, I remember many years ago I trained with and got to an opportunity to spend quite a bit of time with Richard Bandler, who is one of the founding members, co-creators of Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP, which some of you may be aware of. And I spent quite a few years working with Richard, and I remember thinking a lot, and you can't help when you're studying something or learning about something like neuro-linguistic programming to be aware of consciousness. It's about consciousness. Where are we focusing our attention? Which words are we choosing to say? What feelings are we having? What subjective experiences going on within our head? So we were shining a light on areas of thought and feeling and behaviour that often is automatic, often is autopilot. Many of us go through life just doing the same things and thinking the same things, and often feeling the same things day after day after day, without even realising we're just going through a pattern, a program of life. And so I was fortunate to have that opportunity quite early in my life and become much more aware of what's going on between my ears, what's going on in my heart, what's going on in my gut, what's going on in my spirit, because I'm consciously aware now that I have instincts, which is a sort of an unconscious knowing. It's something that's been handed to me. In my instinct, I believe I've inherited through both my parents and them from both of their parents, etc., going back. And so those instincts are within me, but I'm not necessarily conscious of them. I'm just playing out sometimes instinctive. I'm having instinctive reactions which are unconsciously within my DNA maybe, and have no real conscious awareness of them unless I choose to start to become conscious of when I instinctively react to something. So it becomes more conscious. I know I have instinctive reactions. I know that I have feelings. I feel things, and I know that. Therefore, I'm not those feelings. I'm the knower of those feelings. I'm conscious of those feelings. And the same with thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. You can probably tell by the videos that I shoot and conversations that, if you know me, we've had. I have lots and lots of thoughts. I change my mind like the wind. One day I might think this, the other day I might think that. Thoughts are much more fleeting than my feelings. My feelings are much stronger and they tend to be much more embedded. And my instincts are definitely embedded. But my thoughts are butterflies, clouds. They drift and they change like the weather. So, but I know that I'm thinking. When I become conscious of the process of thinking, I know I'm thinking. So I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my feelings. I'm not my instincts. I'm the knowing that I'm having thoughts, feelings and instincts, which fascinates me. Sometimes I imagine things, sometimes I intuit something. It seems like it's a conscious knowing. I just know something's going to happen, or I sense deep down, consciously aware that I'm on the right path or the wrong path. And intuition seems to be a combination of my instinct, my thoughts, my feelings, and maybe something else that guides me. But I'm aware that I'm intuiting. I know that I'm intuiting. So therefore, I'm not the intuitions that I have, the insights that I have. And so, I guess what I'm coming to is consciousness for me is this knowing. It's the knower, the part of me that knows I'm reacting, that knows I'm feeling something, that knows I'm thinking, that knows I'm imagining, creating, intuiting something. There's even a me that knows I'm knowing. Ooh, that's an interesting conscious experience to have. So for me, consciousness is knowing, being the knower. And I'm very aware that I wasn't always like this. There were times when I was very unconscious. I mean, there's been times when I've been unconscious because, I've had an anaesthetic that's made me unconscious. But there are some times where I've been living for quite a long period of my life unconsciously, going through things on automatic pilot, driving to work, doing my job, coming home, going through the same process I do when I come home, having something to eat, watching a bit of telly, and going through that process. And before long, not even noticing that I've gone through that process. I don't do that so much these days. I tend to be more in the moment, noticing what's happening, and do my best to be like that. It feels healthier and more natural for me to be aware of what's happening and choose to change some of those patterns if they're not serving me, if they're not I used to have a habit of turning the news on. I used to have a habit of glancing at the front page of newspapers. I don't do that anymore. Or if I do it, I've done it because I've consciously chosen to do it rather than just done it because that's what I always do. I don't have the same conversations over and over again with people because I'm just in the habit of having those same conversations when I see them and meet them. I change what I choose to watch sometimes in terms of programs on the TV. I change what books I read. I change what music I listen to. I alter the way I walk sometimes. Sometimes I walk one way around a known circuit. Sometimes I walk another way. I like to step off the script sometimes and not necessarily do things the way I've been taught to do them. Try and find a new way of doing things. And I find that suits me. I find that benefits me as well. I become conscious of more pathways. And the more pathways we become conscious of, the more opportunities and the more options we have. And I think stress I believe stress, I've experienced that stress often comes from having a lack of options, or having too many options and no guidance system. And maybe our guidance system, what guides us, what helps us make conscious choices, choose particular paths and ways of moving forward and growing, is a topic for another Let's Walk About It. So I think I'm going to continue to contemplate around this consciousness. I mean, just something else that just come to me then is that I'm aware that not everyone is conscious in the same way. I think my consciousness is probably unique, like most of the other things about me. We all have our own way. We don't all, like daffodils, emerge from the darkness and the cold at the same time in spring. Daffodils don't all come up at the same time. I imagine sometimes those overground daffodils calling down to the underground daffodils that haven't broken the surface yet, saying, you won't believe how amazing it is up here. The sky's blue, the sun is shining, there's beauty everywhere. And those daffodils that are still below the surface saying, what are you talking about? It's all dark and damp and cold down here. Why would I want to grow into more of this? So yeah, interesting. Anyway, I'll leave you with these contemplations. I hope you are enjoying the Let's Walk About It videos that I'm putting out. If you do, please like them. Help me get the algorithm in YouTube sharing them more widely. You can share them more widely as well if you'd like to. If you know people who could benefit from walking with us on a Let's Walk About It video, if one of the topics appeals to you and you know it might resonate with somebody else, please share it. Please get in touch as well. I have an online community where a small group of us now are starting to get together, where we can discuss these videos in more depth, and I'll put a link under this video where you can join us on that group. It's on my own community network, my own mighty network, Nature Connection World, where you can come on, and it's all about nature connection. There's nothing else on there like on some other social media feeds. And so that's great. So yes, please subscribe as well, so you know when the next video comes out. And I look forward to talking to you again. Take care now. Bye bye.